Ah, yes. We are back. Haven't made a video in quite a long time. And who's managed to bring me out? Well, it's gonna be Barrett for this one. Sometimes it's just so hard to sit back and just watch the shit show happen and not say anything. So, for those people that don't know, on Twitter, the Chinese state-run media outlets, the CGTN and these, the China Daily and these types of things, they're marked as Chinese state-run media. That's exactly what they are. They're Chinese state-run media. Now, Barrett, you probably wouldn't deny that fact that they are state-run media. Is that correct? I'm going to assume that he would probably admit that they are. And they're labeled that correctly. But when I say, Barrett, what about government funded? Do you think that that's the same thing? And the obvious answer is no. You see, Barrett goes on Twitter and he says, finally, the playing field is becoming more leveled. This is the second U.S. state-funded media to be labeled this week. Anyone spot more? He, of course, is talking about VOA, Voice of America, being tagged as government funded. But is that leveling the playing field at all? No, of course not. But why not? Well, I think it's very obvious that in the Western media, you can always come here and you can always be critical of our policies. You can always be critical of our presidents. You can always be
We're pushing back on the Chinese Communist propaganda efforts here at home, too. Today, I'm announcing the State Department is designating the U.S. operations of 6 China-based media companies as foreign missions. They are all substantially owned or effectively controlled by a foreign government. We're not placing any restrictions on what these outlets can publish in the United States. We simply want to ensure that American people, consumers of information, can differentiate between news written by a free press and propaganda distributed by the Chinese Communist Party itself.
But that playing field is not the same in China. It's not the same on Weibo. I highly doubt that on Weibo in China they're marking their own accounts as Chinese state-run media. If anything, this is not a victory for you, Barrett. This is a victory for the West because we're being what's called transparent. We're being honest about what it is. And we're saying, you know what? We're going to mark government funded. But again, I'm sure even you are smart enough to realize that being government funded is not the same as being run, as being state run, as being controlled, as being forced, as having the word of the media always be the same for propaganda purposes. I'm sure that you can understand that there is a difference between giving a private entity some money because you maybe agree with them or you support them, and that there is a difference between essentially holding a gun to someone's head and saying, if you say the wrong thing, then we will put you in jail. I'm sure you can understand the difference, right? You're an intelligent being. I wouldn't think that you would be that dumb. That's not possible, right? So even you would have to admit that there is a difference between being marked as government funded. So why are you prancing around on Twitter acting as if this is a victory for you? Again, this is a victory for the West. This is being honest. This is being transparent. This is something that the Chinese state-run media does not do. Because again, the playing field is not level. I cannot go to Weibo and be critical of the Chinese government like you can come here and be critical of the Western government or the European government on Twitter. No one is going to censor you. The American government has even said that they will not censor the Chinese government from putting out media in America. How is that a level playing field? How is it the same? How do you think that that is a victory for you? But it's not. That's the difference. It's not. If you disagree with Barrett, go all the way over to his Twitter. Follow me on Twitter if you're not. Go to his Twitter, at him, and tell him that he's wrong, that he is incorrect, that acting as if this is some kind of a victory for Barrett, who is a Chinese propagandist, that this is not a victory for him, that this is the West being transparent. Like, comment, subscribe, and have a good day.